Welcome to a new episode of TTG Conversations 5 Questions video series. I'm Karen Yu, Group Editor of TTG Asia Media. In this episode, we will talk about vaccine equity, why achieving this matters to the travel and tourism industry. And taking us through this topic is Liz Ortiguera, Chief Executive Officer at PATA. Liz took position at PATA in May last year. Her career spans several industries from travel and lifestyle, technology, financial services to pharmaceuticals. Happy to have you on the show, Liz.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
I've got 5 questions for you, and here's the first. PATA recently came together with Virgin Atlantic and Collinson to tackle vaccine inequity. Can you tell us more about this?
Sure, and thanks for your interest. Vaccine equity has been critical since the start of this pandemic. Living in Asia makes you keenly aware that there are many countries who've been challenged getting vaccines. Many countries still need first doses. More than 3 billion people are still unvaccinated, largely in low-income countries. So at this stage, with wealthy nations boostering up and low-income countries left behind, this creates an increased risk of new variants. Omicron is one example. Everyone hoped that we were through the wave with Delta, and then Omicron emerged. The travel sector touches so many industries, so our voice and impact is really needed for this effort. The critical goal is to vaccinate 70% of the population of every country by this summer. So in December, we formed the Global Travel Sector Vaccine Coalition. There have been great contributions by others in our industry as well, including Intrepid, Expedia, and other players. We wanted to build on this and engage the broader industry. So there are multiple ways to engage. First, you could help combat vaccine misinformation with employee and community education. Second, help lobby the pharmaceutical industry to make vaccine access more equitable. And then third, support COVAX fundraising efforts, either through corporate donations or running transaction-based micro donations. Over 1 billion doses have been delivered to low-income countries through Gavi, COVAX, AMC. Go Give One, our initiative, has raised funds to purchase over 1.9 million vaccines for 92 lower and middle-income countries, prioritizing the most vulnerable. Just $5 per vaccine protects one person. By March 2022, COVAX needs to secure $5.2 billion to maximize its global capacity to help low-income countries respond to new variants and alleviate the risks that they can't manage alone.
Okay, the humanitarian crisis of vaccine inequity has the greatest impact on low-income countries, like you mentioned, Liz. Most of these lower-income countries are either not tourism-dependent countries or tourism source markets of interest. So why is the issue of vaccine inequity still a matter of importance for our industry?
Well, first, vaccine inequity is an issue for all humanity and for the global recovery, not just our industry. Getting vaccines broadly is foundational to the recovery. Even if people only focus on their self-interest and their home country, vaccine inequity leaves the whole world vulnerable to new variants. Plus, no nation should be left behind on this. Omicron is significantly different from Delta. A new variant can pop up that evades vaccine effectiveness, and that would really be the worst case scenario. In our super connected world, the virus is borderless. Travel bans are not effective as recognized by the WHO, so it's important that all nations get secured. Second, I know that many of our PATA member destinations are still challenged with vaccine access and deployment, so it's reached everyone.
Okay, and what can PATA do to influence greater attention and support from the travel, tourism, and hospitality community with regards to global vaccination?
First of all, I'd like to acknowledge that the travel sector has played a critical role in the humanitarian effort already. Hotels serving as quarantine centers, MICE venues serving as field hospitals and vaccine centers. We have many frontliners and staff that have been heroic already in their customer service efforts. But our travel sector encompasses many more industries, and we have a lot at stake here. So given the reach and the scope of travel, there's more we can do to educate and get financial support. So A, we can raise awareness at an industry and a consumer level. B, share expert advice. We use our various PATA industry forums to deploy the best practices from UNICEF, WHO, CDC, and the International Vaccine Institute. Leverage our platforms to share important information. Third, I would say best practice share. As one example, we regularly host government member sessions to have destinations share their experiences, best practices, and challenges as they deploy health and safety standards in their destinations, and in addition to the vaccine effort. And then lastly, encourage donations. These could be done either at a corporate or at a consumer level. And we know that many companies in the travel sector have been hard hit. But if there's a way that consumers, SMEs, multinationals can band together, let's not leave it just to the government destinations to sort out. Their priority is their own citizens. I think this really requires a global multinational effort.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, you gave very good examples of how companies can contribute to tackling vaccine inequity, even if there's no finance needed. What other besides monetary contributions, what other ways can our industry players do to push for vaccine equity?
So you can raise awareness by communicating with your own network of partners and a client base, as well as your own employee and customer base. Your company may not be in a position to support right now, but others in your network may be better positioned. Some of my colleagues running other travel associations, for example, are reaching out to their members. And that's why we really wanted to form a coalition to engage in various forms, engage those people that are in a position to support. And then next is market or community-based support. Look at the markets for multinationals and smaller companies. Look at the markets that you operate in. Is there a vaccine equity issue in the less developed countries or communities? We ran a pilot program with community outreach to informal workers in Thailand, and part of it involved health and safety training. Agoda saw this and told us they're interested in supporting it as an employee CSR program. So we're thrilled to engage that additional support.
It's wonderful to know. Another obstacle to a fully vaccinated global population is vaccine hesitancy. Can our industry be part of this solution?
Absolutely. Like I mentioned, by giving platforms to the health experts on this, there's too much misinformation online from very random sources. You need to give a stronger voice to the medical and the health experts. UNICEF, for example, can share some great examples in various nations and cultures of how they engage the local communities. They've taken the approach in some cases to educate the religious leaders, since they're the most trusted in some of these communities, or they've linked vaccination campaigns with cultural festivals to get the most reach and get the most engagement in some cultures.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember there was this time when some of the hotel companies were also giving away vouchers for people who came forward to get vaccinated. I thought that was quite brilliant.
Oh, it's happened in many countries, consumer focused campaigns. This is such a global challenge. And so I really think it takes everyone at a not just a government, but a corporate and an individual level to really pitch in.
Yeah, that's all the questions I have for you, Liz. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Past and future episodes of TTG Conversations, 5 questions, can be found on the TTG YouTube channel. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Goodbye.